Thanks for joining us on Beyond 9 to 5. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the personal side of our guest, exploring the hobbies and passions that fuels his life outside the CXO role. We'll dive into the activities that recharge his batteries, inspire creativity, and provide a refreshing balance to his busy career. It's all about seeing what makes him tick when the workday ends and real fun begins. Let's get started and explore the world where work meets passion. Now let's give a warm welcome to Anujh Tewari, Chief Cybersecurity Advisor, India and South Asia for Microsoft. Thank you so much for joining us, Anujh.
Hey, thank you for having me, Awnesh. Pleasure being here.
So, Anujh, we're thrilled to have you on Beyond 9 to 5, and we're eager to dive into the fun side of your life, which is much beyond the tech world. And to start with a bit of a different question, do you have any hidden talent or a quirky hobby that you think would surprise your team?
Yeah, that's a good one. I think everybody talks about all the good passions we have in the office, and very exciting to see you guys take this theme. I thought nobody will ask me this, but I actually have a fridge full of magnets, and I'm trying to think. I usually carry one back from every country I visit. And give or take, I think now I have about 35 plus of them on my fridge. So I think that's a little bit quirky, and I'm not sure if everybody knows that.
Wow. That is absolutely a very cool, different hobby that I've just got to know. No one has mentioned that before, but that's wonderful to have. Every superhero has their moment of triumph. We've definitely seen that in the movies as well. But tell us about a time when your tech fortress crumbled and you actually swooped in like a hero and you saved the day.
Fabulous. When my tech fortress crumbled, I remember that during the summer vacations, my niece was here. And she has got this new laptop and she couldn't somehow get the AI to work. And I think for our next generation, even the smallest things we do, they know that we are busy and everything. I think, unfortunately, maybe that's the impression she got. And she very hesitantly asked me if that's something that I would help her with. And we did. And I ended up actually working with her on a project 2 hours straight on generative AI. And I think the look in her eyes and how she felt proud of me was absolutely amazing. So that was my time. I would say I actually felt like a superhero.
That's a pretty sweet answer. So if we really talk about your workspace right now, so are you all about a very meticulous organization, or is it actually more of a controlled chaos situation?
As far as my personal aspects go, I like to think I'm always in a state of a controlled chaos. As it says, especially in the line of work I'm in cybersecurity, you never know what the next minute will bring you. So no matter how much you try, I've tried to be meticulous. Interestingly, I took a vacation in Japan in last August, and I learned about many good things like Ikigai and the concepts that they follow. That said, man, it's so difficult to implement. So controlled chaos it is for me.
I was in fact about to ask you, because the kind of situation that when it comes to a cybersecurity specifically professional,
Yeah.
I'm sure you might be wanting to and must be doing so many things to kind of keep your mind controlled and be in control of a situation, because we all know how the situation is, how what can get. A funnier one here, just in case I ask you that there's any app that you have to create, and it could be as silly as anything, what do you think you're going to be creating an app for?
Okay, interesting. I think with all the artificial intelligence now available to us, I think if there was an app which can maybe use my phone's camera somehow and stop me from eating junk food every time I am. Again, given the nature of the beast or nature of the work, there are times when you are on calls. There are times when you're just doing your thing, right? While I'm very blessed to be in an organization which promotes us to be very conscious of what we are doing, think of holistic well-being, but as a human, I sometimes stumble. And when I say I sometimes, I'm being very modest and humble about it. I usually stumble, and I wish there was an app somehow which would just give me a shout out and ask me to be more mindful of what I'm doing in terms of what I'm eating.
I'm 100% sure there are a lot of applications like that coming into being very soon now. We all need it.
Yeah.
And finally, if I really ask you, if you think if your life was actually, it had its own poem, what poem would you actually recite every time when you walked into a room?
I'm trying to think if somebody has actually asked me this ever since I left the school, and this is an amazing question. There's a poem called If, the word if by Rudyard Kipling. And it's been very close to my heart ever since I've been growing up. If you really see, it's not just a poem, but it's also almost like a fatherly advice that one gives to their son, for example. It's written in that tense, and I've always kept it to my heart. And I can tell you, with small failures like not maybe winning the trophy in a state championship, running for the school sports team, to some of the biggest aspects we see in our professional life, all these way in 2.5 decades. I can tell you, every time I read that poem, it brings me a new meaning, and I would strongly recommend it. It's a short poem, right? It's not a lot of lines, and if somebody gets the time, I strongly recommend it. It's amazing.
That's one for the long weekend, probably for myself this time. I'll definitely go through it. So thank you so much, Anuj. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for attending for Beyond 9 to 5, and see you very soon. All the very best.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you, Anuj. Thank you.